The first time I saw her, she was standing beside the frozen food section of a small grocery store on the edge of town. Nothing about her seemed extraordinary at first glance. She wore a simple gray coat that looked slightly too thin for the winter wind blowing outside. Her dark hair fell over her shoulders in loose waves, and her eyes, an unusual silver gray, moved carefully across the shelves as if she were studying the labels like they were written in a foreign language. I noticed her mostly because she looked lost. Not the normal kind of lost you see when someone can't find the milk aisle. No, she looked like someone who had stepped into the wrong world entirely. I grabbed my coffee and a few groceries and was about to leave when she approached me. "Excuse me," she said softly. "Do you know which of these is edible?" She held up a frozen pizza. Her question caught me off guard. Technically all of them." Her eyes brightened slightly. "Technically? Well," I said, smiling awkwardly. "Some are better than others." She studied my face carefully, like she was measuring my honesty. Then she picked the same brand I had in my basket. "Then I will trust your judgment." That was the beginning. Her name, she said, was Ilera. She claimed she had recently moved into town and was still adjusting to local customs. I offered to show her how to cook the pizza, since she admitted she didn't own an oven yet and didn't really understand how they worked. Looking back, that should have been my first clue. We walked through the quiet streets together toward my small cabin at the edge of town. Snow drifted softly across the road, and the sky was already darkening. Ilera walked beside me in silence, occasionally glancing upward at the stars. Not casually either. She stared at them with an intensity that made it seem like she recognized them. "You like astronomy?" I asked. She tilted her head slightly. "I suppose you could say that." Her gaze lingered on a cluster of stars near the horizon. "They are very close here." "Close?" I laughed. "Those stars are hundreds of light years away." She looked at me again, almost amused. "Yes," she said quietly. "That is what humans believe." At the time, I assumed she was joking. Back at the cabin, I cooked the pizza while she sat at the kitchen table watching everything I did. She asked strange questions. Not personal ones. Basic ones. What is the purpose of money? Why do humans divide land into ownership? Why do leaders compete for authority instead of being chosen by merit? I answered as best I could, though half the time I wasn't sure myself. But the strangest moment came when the oven timer beeped. She flinched like she'd heard a gunshot. Her eyes flashed with something, fear, maybe. "You're okay?" I said quickly. "Just the oven." She relaxed slowly. "I am still adapting to your technology." When we ate, she took small, careful bites, studying the food like a scientist examining an experiment. "Is it good?" I asked. She nodded thoughtfully. "It is unexpectedly pleasant." That made me laugh. For the first time that night, she smiled. And I realized she was beautiful, not in the usual way. There was something ancient in her eyes, like someone who had seen far more of the universe than anyone else. Over the next few weeks, Ilera became a regular part of my life. She rented a small apartment in town and found a job at the local bookstore. But she never quite blended in. She didn't understand jokes. She walked with perfect posture, like a soldier. And she always looked at the sky. Every night. Sometimes I'd find her standing outside my cabin staring upward for hours. "You're going to freeze out here," I told her once. "The cold does not trouble me." "You say that now." She smiled faintly. "I have experienced far worse environments." I leaned against the railing beside her. "What, like Antarctica?" Her eyes shifted slightly. "Something like that." One night changed everything. It was late. Snow was falling again, thick and heavy. Ilera burst into my cabin without knocking. Her calm composure was gone. For the first time since I'd known her, she looked terrified. They found me. I sat up from the couch. Who found you? Before she could answer, a deep vibration shook the windows. Not thunder. Something mechanical. I stepped outside. Above the mountains, a massive triangular craft hovered silently in the sky. It was enormous, larger than any aircraft humanity had ever built. Blue lights pulsed across its surface like a heartbeat. My mind struggled to process what I was seeing. "Elara," I whispered. "What is that?" She stepped beside me. "My people." I turned slowly toward her. "You're serious?" "Yes." The ground trembled again. A beam of light shot down from the craft, scanning the forest. "They are searching for me," she said. My heart started racing. "Why?" She hesitated. Then she said the words that changed my life forever. "Because I am their queen." I stared at her, waiting for the punchline. None came. "You're joking." "I wish I were." The beam of light moved closer across the snow-covered trees. "If they find me," she continued, "they will take me back by force." "Back where?" "To my empire." My brain refused to accept what she was saying. "You're telling me you're the queen of aliens?" "Not aliens," she corrected gently. "To you, perhaps. But to us, you are the distant ones." The scanning beam moved closer. "Why are they hunting you?" I asked. Her eyes darkened. "Because I refused the war." We retreated inside as the light swept across the mountainside. She finally told me the truth. Her civilization ruled thousands of star systems, an ancient empire spanning across the galaxy. For centuries, they maintained peace through absolute control. But recently, powerful factions within the empire demanded expansion, conquest, new worlds, new species. Earth was on the list. "I refused to authorize the invasion," she said quietly. "Many of my generals disagreed." "So they overthrew you?" "Not yet," she said. "But they are trying." She had fled to Earth months ago, hiding among humans while she searched for allies within her own empire. But her enemies had finally tracked her down. "If they capture me," she said, "they will force my command codes from me." "What happens then?" "Earth will be conquered." Outside, the scanning beam stopped moving. It was directly above the cabin. My stomach dropped. "They've found you." Elara stood still for a moment. Then she turned to me. "You must leave." "What?" "They will not harm you if you are not associated with me." I shook my head. "No way. I'm not just walking away." Her voice softened. "You have already done more for me than anyone here." "But I had a different idea." "What if you surrender?" Her eyes widened slightly. "You cannot be serious." "Think about it," I said. "If you're the queen, you still have authority." "Not if they remove me." "But they haven't yet." For a moment she seemed to consider it. The ship above us hummed louder. Dropships began descending through the clouds. Black armored figures landed in the snow outside. Soldiers. Dozens of them. Elara took a deep breath. "Very well." She stepped toward the door. But before she opened it, she looked back at me. "Whatever happens next, thank you." The door opened. Alien soldiers surrounded the cabin instantly. They were tall, over 7 feet, covered in dark armor with glowing blue visors. Weapons aimed directly at us. Then one of them stepped forward. His armor was more elaborate than the others. "Your Majesty," he said coldly. "So you finally reveal yourself." Elara stood tall. "I am still your queen, General Varric." The soldier bowed slightly. "Technically." His visor turned toward me. "And who is this human?" "A civilian," she said quickly. "He is not involved." Varric studied me for a long moment. Then he laughed softly. A fascinating species. He turned back to Alara. Your council has issued a final decree. You will return with us and authorize the expansion campaign. No. The single word echoed through the snowy forest. Varric's voice hardened. Then we will extract the authorization by other means. He gestured to the soldiers. They stepped forward. Before they could grab her, Alara raised her hand. Every soldier froze. Their armor lights flickered violently. Varric's voice cracked with shock. Impossible. Alara's eyes glowed silver. You forget something, General. The Imperial Command Network still answers to me. Every weapon in the soldiers' hands shut down simultaneously. Dropships overhead powered down midair. Even the massive mothership flickered. Varric staggered. You cannot stop the entire fleet. I don't need to. She stepped forward. I only need to remind them who commands it. Her voice suddenly carried far beyond the forest. It echoed through the sky like a broadcast. Fleet of the Stellar Empire, this is your queen. The massive ship above us went silent. Every light turned toward her. I will not lead you into a war of conquest. Any commander who continues this pursuit will be stripped of rank and exiled beyond the frontier. The silence lasted several long seconds. Then something incredible happened. One by one, the ships began retreating. Dropships lifted off. Weapons powered down. Even General Varric's soldiers lowered their rifles. Varric stared at the sky in disbelief. You just ended the campaign. Alara's voice was calm. Yes. And the council will never forgive you. I know. By morning, the sky was empty. The fleet had vanished. Alara and I sat quietly on the cabin steps watching the sunrise. So, I said slowly, you're really the queen of the galaxy. Not the entire galaxy, she corrected gently. Only part of it. I laughed. That's somehow worse. She smiled faintly. Perhaps. But there was sadness in her eyes. They will try again someday. Your council? Yes. What will you do? She looked at the stars fading in the morning sky. I will continue fighting for peace. Then she turned to me. But I cannot remain hidden on Earth anymore. My chest tightened. You're leaving? Yes. A small silver ship descended silently from the clouds. Sleek. Elegant. Waiting. She stood up slowly. I have a duty to my people. I nodded. I figured. She paused beside the ship. Then she surprised me. Would you come with me? My brain froze. What? You see the universe differently than most humans, she said. You ask questions. You challenge power. You could help me build something better. I stared up at the stars, then back at her. Are you seriously offering me a job helping run a space empire? Her smile returned. In a way. I laughed. Well, I took a deep breath. Why not? Her eyes sparkled. Then come. As the ship lifted into the sky, Earth grew smaller beneath us. And I realized something incredible. The ordinary woman I met in a grocery store wasn't just the queen of the stars. She might also be the one who saved humanity from ever knowing how close we came to extinction. And somehow, I was now part of that story. Rocket.